Well, season's here. Let's flip the coin. Let's check the coin. We'll keep the coin. Instead of keeping the coin, then checking the coin. That's the wrong order, isn't it? Right, that shows me how much I had to drink this morning. Right, so here we are, VGP Division, Week 5, Season 10, in the NATTS. And of course, we've got a bit of a matchup here showing, the lovely ladies of the Marvel Elwins that we've seen before. And here, it's the Nerdgirls? We'll just call them the slimy ones. Right, okay, that's simple enough. It's like they always taught me in the Monty Jingles. We'll just call you Dave. That's easy enough, right. So, Dave's team here is battling it out with the Marvel Elwins. And it's been quite the season here. Of course, Marvel Elwins, showing, of course, in the early stages how good the Amazon team really can be. But, of course, Nurgle is quite the up and developing team. So, there's the kick. And there's a beautiful, perfect defense that heavily favours them. Oh yeah, he's definitely taking good advantage of that one here. He's going to make sure the dear ladies are going to have a wee bit of a tougher time here trying to get past his team. Taking a look here, have we had any good development of skills? Well, there's a few interesting ones here. You got Dauntless here, you got Mighty Blow, and yes, still hasn't got sure hands on the thrower. Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem, isn't it? As for the Nurgle team here, you can see they've got at least one star of all things player here, one rotter of all things, and of course they're actually trying to learn how to, hit things with the rest of his team. Of course, as everyone says here, the main thing here at this stage here, of course, is going to be Fluffy. Fluffy, of course, being the proper name for a beast of Nurgle. Because of, yes, you've got it, tentacles. And now you're starting to see the power of Dauntless at certain stages here. That's a good kick to the backside. And down he goes. He's just stunned. Lucky for him. And also lucky for them there, they actually managed to pick up the ball. Now, as you can see here, they've got the Fame. Of course, they don't seem to have a passing game. Well, they've got the Fame. Yeah, they've definitely got the Fame. But that was pretty miserable there. 3 and a 1. Well, wonderful rolling here. The end for one of those games, are we? Well, not passing up a chance here, and this is going to be some very good cagey play, for lack of a better term. And the Nurgle team here is going to press in and cause all kinds of difficulties here for the Amazons. As unfortunately, it's not every day you suddenly get this little golden opportunity of a free ball. However, they haven't evolved a ball to carry a Pestigore yet, so they're working on it. As everyone says, especially when you're dealing with Chaos-style teams, you end up developing your Pestigores in certain ways. And that holds the same both for the pure Chaos team as well as the Nurgle team. It's also going to hold pretty much the same for your Khorne team once that reappears. You're asking for a date for that. Well, it was supposed to be December, but it has been officially pushed. And speaking of push, someone's pushing his luck there. Skull into a skull, and of course he's stunned. Well, so much for that play. Alright, Nurgle, this is your golden opportunity. Go get that sucking ball thing. Here comes the Blitz away. And he's even got a power there for a reward. Down goes a little Sheila. And are you actually picking up the ball? Yes, you are. Run, you full run. Well, that's about as far as you can run. Oh, the power of both down. Well, unfortunately, Armor 7's proving to be quite resilient, isn't it? Not we've seen this from this team before. But as mentioned before, it's no surprise, no secret, Khorne is coming back. And speaking of coming back, he's going to have to come back after a very unfortunate lightning bolt has suddenly landed on his arse. Well, I thought just the Scottish could do that. Well, the Amazons have finally decided, well, they better do something about this, and they try to peel away the side. Admittedly, with good solid fists, that's one way of doing it. Lots of punching, lots of hitting, and a lot of pushing. Don't see lots of dying. That's an awful risk there, but of course, as you can say, with having a player with block, that's actually a better chance against Fluffy before he gets stand firm. Once again, he gets lucky, he does get the ball. Would you like to get it down the field now? And once more, he fails it even with a pass 3 or 2 and a 1. Yeah, it's going to be one of those games. Well, alright, Nurgle, would you like to try this again? Oh, of course, step 1 here, he's going to mark up the entire team once more. There we go, the 2-die blitz away. He gets rewarded once more. Down she goes once more. However, he fails to pick up the ball once more. We thought there was going to be a chance. Look, it's a 1 in 9. Boy, it's definitely going to be one of those games. Comedy of error in many parts. Oh, Nuffle, you're so funny. Well, I think the Amazons have had quite enough of this. As, you know, the secrets of Blood Bowl is actually trying to get one of those touchdown things, and so far, well, they're not getting anywhere with actually trying to get one of those things. So here we go, back to something that actually can do rather well, and that's lots of punching. Now, as mentioned before, the Amazons are a quite extraordinary, considered high tier 2 team. They used to actually be considered tier 1, but now considered tier 2. It's because they've started seeing more statistics of what happens when the teams develop. Amazons start off looking promising because you buy certain skills in tournaments, and then they start running into all kinds of problems. Again, yes, as has been discussed many, many times here on the channel, yes, it is overdue. The Amazons are going to get a redesign. What is the timeline for that? Again, delayed. I seem to be actually saying that an awful lot here, aren't I? Well, it's not my decision. Talk to the lads of Nottingham. They're the ones who are actually making the delays. Of course, the delays are happening from the lads of Nottingham because they're trying to be respectful to the NAF and of all things Focus. Because Focus is playing ball, for lack of a better term, better and better. Therefore, there's going to be new announcements coming out. We'll look forward to it, lads. There's going to be some good stuff. And especially some of the good stuff are going to be actually some more bug repairs. I have heard my criticisms about that. They still have a few bonny bugs. And right now, you're starting to discover, you know, the fun the Amazons have against most other teams here. A lot of teams, you think almost every team wouldn't want to base up as much. However, the Amazons having dodge tend to get away with it a wee bit more. Having 4 players that can start with blodge, they can really get away with it. Also, it means they hate sucking dwarves. Well, who doesn't hate sucking dwarves? I know, I make no secret of that. It's an awful lot of pushing going on. Well, from a Nurgle's viewpoint, if your opponent doesn't score on his drive, that's a win. Nurgles are not well known for their speed. Many a Nurgle game is usually a 1-0 victory for them. And the punching's continuing. There's another 1 in 9. Double 1. I'm starting to realise here, if either coach, you know, they do have luck. Smells like all bad, but they do have luck. Well, there's a solid stunning, but even Nurgle's got to be wondering at this point, what's it going to take to break these ladies? I don't know, cancel the credit cards? That could do it. Tell them that Supernatural's cancelled? Hey, that would be fighting words. That might not be a good idea. Well, off the pitch here. More solid punching. And more solid falling down. That's quite a few of them laying down on their backs. No, not saying it, not saying it. I'll leave that for the sister to bring up later on. Well, anyway, speaking of the sister, deep penetration here into the Amazon's line. I had to bring that up eventually, yeah. Here comes the quick blitz away. That's a good move here, coming over the top here to make sure the ball, one way or the other, is clearly marked up. And he even gets away with a 1-die block. Of course, he has block. And does he wish to? Yep, he's going to use Fluffy. In this case here, you'll be going, you know, why is this actually a good idea? Because normally you don't want to block with Fluffy, but look what it moves. Fluffy, lesson for you. Now how many players has he got tentacles on? That is a good block. Well, tentacles doesn't work here the first time. And this Rotter's going to learn how to fly. As someone always noted here, you know, the Rotters are a wee bit more tougher than they should be. But of course, as many have pointed out, having that decay really negates that. So when they do get hurt, it's the same problem the Kenry team has. Things start getting really bad. Uh-oh. Well, that wasn't planned. And he's going to have to take the both down just to pop the ball free again. Well, so much for your rerolls. That's definitely become one of those games, hasn't it? Amazons, who would have thought they're fighting just to even just try and keep possession of the ball? As for Nurgle, yeah, they wouldn't mind being able to keep it for more than one turn. But as long as it stays down here, that's quite alright, lads. And of course now more the disturbing presence is now coming down the field. I'm glad they changed the colour to the blue as before they had the red colour, which was harder to pick up. Apparently someone actually told them, oi, try different shades. You know, you have that little graphical interface. And some would say, those are rather large words for you to be using. Speaking of large words, how about pick up the sucking ball, you twat? There you go, finally gets on the reroll. He's off, does he risk it? Yes, he does, and it's 1-0 for the Nurgles. Or the Nerdgles. We'll just call it Dave's team, right. So Dave's team is up 1-0. And remarkably, as even they with themselves admit, hey look, they've still got their 2 reserves. Of course, from the Amazons' viewpoint, look, they've still got their reserve. No one really got anywhere. Now, the Amazons at this point here have got 2 turns to try and score this thing. Now it's going to be a glory play. Good solid kick. Oh, that's definitely what they didn't need to see. There we go. It's a quick blitz away. In fact, if he gets away with it, he can even get all the way down the pitch. Solid hit. And once again, that armor is nigh invulnerable. Well, he's not going to miss a trick here. It's definitely now time to mark up the entire team. Pour through the open side. He's peeled that away like a pair of leather. Never mind. Pantaloons. We'll call them pantaloons. Right. Where's this little bugger going? No, it's complete markup. Might be pushing a wee bit considering where the ball's going, and it's a beautiful bounce. Amazons couldn't have asked for a worst problem here. In fact, now it seems to be their main effort here is just trying to recover the ball. And they actually got it. Chancy pass forward. They actually do get away with it, but she is wide open. Their charge card must have been good. Aye. Alright, back to solid punching. This is degenerating fast, isn't it? Now, frees a play up. Now he smartly does bring this back as a loose sacrificial screen. That's a good word for it. And he does succeed on the 2 dice uphill block. Well done. Alright, Nat frees a couple more players up. Not that way. Definitely not that way. Leading with chin once more, me darling. As you saw, well, no rerolls and he blew the go for it. Right, Dave's team now here. How do they want to play this? Because they quite frankly would love to get a nice, good, solid punch into the ball carrier. But at this point here, you know, he's thinking, here, I'd like to get a couple of good solid punches in, and if they do contact, well, it's only almost 7. It should break easily, right? Right? Yeah, I almost think I'm jinxing it. No. Yeah, speaking of jinx, well, he's got no rerolls for that one there. And so much for that great glory idea. Fortunately, everything else is still marked up on the front line. Amazons, well, turn 8. And you don't have anyone move down the field, so you're not scoring this drive. All you're doing is protecting the ball. Oh, solid punch down, comes running through. Of course, as mainly as same as the argument is here, that the Amazons aren't breaking. Well, then again, the Amazons would point out, you know, they are getting a lot of solid punches in, but things aren't breaking on the other side either. And speaking of, finally, something indeed does break. Regeneration, of course, does fail. And then, of course, uphill into the little Fluffy, and down she goes. So, final turn here, so we're looking here at the injuries. Wasn't anything permanent, it's just out for this game. But it is still a critical player, because there goes a strength 4. Come on. Starting to wonder what's actually going to take the break on with 7. As we can say at this point here, have we even seen a stun? I think we've seen 1 stun. That's it. Well, he's taking matters in his own hands there. There you go, he's finally gotten a KO. And it's taken him to do some trampoline time to actually get that to work. Now, fortunately, the KO actually does stay out, so it's a wee bit productive. Right, cameraman, let's turn this one around here. So, as we can see here, Dave's team, well, they're happy, they're up 1-0, and now they're actually going to hold the ball. And they can, at this point here, just take the ponderous time marching down the field. Of course, as for the Amazons, yeah, nothing special other than the additional mighty blow to one of the blitzers. As you can see here for the Dave's team here, they do got the one player with the crazy skills, of course. And, of course, the one beastman who's going to be probably the critical punch down for most of this entire drive. But again, as noted, critical so far for a Nurgle team. They do not have the, for lack of a better term, ball-handling Pestigore. Catchagore, that's a good name for it. How sweltering neat. Just to try and dry the slime off the field. So Dave's team here, his Nurgles, are trying to actually try and rack up a couple of skill points here, but actually trying to get a sweet hit on some Armor 7. And as we've seen most of this game, that's just not happening. And it continues to just not be happening. Well, how about let's try 3 dice. Does that work? Oh, huzzah, it's actually a stun. I know, it's kind of very sarcastic, but that's pretty much what just happened. You finally got a stun. Well, he's bringing the team up here. He doesn't mind a lot of contact here. Or I'll just call it yiffing. Except it's not, it doesn't have anything with fur in it, does it? Fails the pickup. Fails the bounce. Well, that's just all around incompetence in the rear, isn't it? Now, here's the thought. Does the Amazon team actually want to try and do something about this? If they press hard, they can make life pretty difficult in the rear. That's what she said. Well, how about we start you off with a 1-36? There's a great start to your turn. Well, so much for any heroics from the Owens then. Now it really depends how ballsy he wants to be. Solid punch in the front line. Is a Rotter finally going to break? No, of course not. This is becoming his problem all game. Another solid hit. And of course he's rewarded with only a stun. This is actually becoming quite the clinic on positional Blood Bowl, because no team is really getting a key, volley of injuries or anything else like that. It's just, lots of knockdowns and the odd stun, nothing else. Which you got to admit, from the Amazon viewpoint, well, that's definitely a victory for them. And of course, as pointed out, the power of all that dodge early when they're not facing sucking dwarves. Amazons can actually, against lots of teams, risk marking them up and trusting the dodge to make it that it's pretty much, unless they've got block, it's going to take a solid pow to actually knock them over. So on a 2-dice block, it's a 1 in 3. Finally, speaking of, someone's actually got the ball. Would you like to get the Fluffy? No? Yes, I got to admit, it's pretty funny when Fluffy actually gets a touchdown. I seen that happen. That's an interesting spot to put Fluffy, but now you can see, well, he's going to see if Constable Ed's still not paying attention today. Come on. And of course, it's a stun. Does show you how the game's been going now. Amazons, you're a wee bit out of position, but unlike the Nurgle team, they have probably a better chance of being able to cover things up, because of course the Chaos Warriors on Nurgle team are excessively slow, movement 4. And Fluffy, of course, is only movement 4, and the Rotter's movement 5. So this is one of those rare cases where the non-modified Amazon team actually can, cover things up pretty fast. And they better, someone's just ducked into the dressing room. Well, now Blitz actually done that turn. Instead, they decide just to cover everything up and put a wee bit of a threat in here. And Blitz forward in, once again, Armor 7's proving to be nigh bloody invulnerable. There we go, push me, push you. Decides not to press it in. Boy, where's he going? Finally, he'll take it. It's of all things a KO. In a game as crazy as this, he'll take it. But it looks like what he's setting up here is probably another quick foul. Because as you know, nothing else seems to be bloody working. Or push me, push you. Is the foul going in? Oh yes it is. Trampoline time. It's another bell rung. Constable is really just not paying much attention here. Actually, he's probably going to go find his sunglasses. Not now the Amazons are having to take a risk here. They do get the reroll, they get the ball carrier, down he goes. And of course it's one of the worst places for the ball to bounce. Well, now the fight's on. Where's it going this time? Well, it's slightly better, at least came back towards the Amazons, but they really do need to recover this to get the score back even. More push me, push you. Now, solid both down, and of course both players fail to break armor, because that's the way this game's going. Well, from the Nurgle's viewpoint here, they don't actually need to pick up the ball, they just need to, well, pretty much interdict it. But as we have always spoke time and time again, possession of the ball is always 5 times out of 6 far better than just guarding it. Why? Because there's, as we said, 5 times out of 6. Well, guess what? Your opponent can always roll a 6 and pick up the ball no matter what you've got on it. That's Blood Bowl for you. A bit of solid punching, more solid falling down, more solid nigh invincible armor. That folly block comes through on a 1 in 9. And he ends up changing his mind where he actually wants to be. Do you actually want to pick up this ball? I'll say it again. Do you want to pick up this ball? Who's got it? No one's got it. Again. This is becoming a comedy in errors. Maybe you'll want to wipe some of the slime off first. You know, use something with technicals. I bet you if the beast lands on the ball, he'll catch it on a 6. Just you wait. Well, Amazons have got to clear this mess up somehow. Because they do still need to actually get this ball in, you know, tie the score up. And they'd actually like to get the KOs back. So, risk is the business. How exactly do they want to go about this? And yep, there you saw it. Foul opinions finally comes through and even chokes him on the reroll, so that makes it a 1 in 36. And there's something Nurgle hasn't seen. It's actually one of the Rotters has actually gotten it. It's a KO. And much as you hate to admit, the Amazons will blessedly take that one. Meanwhile, back in the scrum here in the front line, it's become a complete and utter tangled mess. But again, this does favour the Nurgles as they're up 1-0. So they're not exactly picky. Wrestle finally comes in. It's starting to show in this game, every precious skill is making a big difference. Of course, one skill the Amazons have is their non-invulnerable armor 7 at this point. You think they're a sucking Norse team. That's push me, push you. Well, finally he's getting some progress here. At you, laddie. Would you like to hit something? Not really? How about a push? Push works just fine. Solid good push away over there. And now, once again, an attempt, and he's finally got it, and he goals it. And if anyone keeps asking here, he's not throwing blocks with Fluffy. Again, it's the smartest move to do with Fluffy. Only throw blocks with him when you really have to, or it's not critical. In this case, he's tying up 2 players. It's doing a great job. And you can see what he did there. It's the one with block. Amazons have got a problem now. Solid punch in the side. Down he goes. Amazons have blown the blitz here. Like I said, it was a good try. But it's the one pesticle that happens to be carrying block. And it's getting awfully risky now. And there's a solid hit, and it's a solid KO, and it's a critical one at this point here. Down goes the frontline pesticle. Amazons are not out of this one. Just as I say that, they blow a 1 in 9 dodge. Well, here we go, turn 14. What's Nurgle going to do now? Because now the numbers are starting to get a wee bit thin. But he's getting something very precious. And now it's not that Prince Albert he's wearing on his little orbit. At least for this coach anyway. Now it's called a reroll. Well, there's a solid punch. He'll take that, especially on a blodger. Down she goes. And all he decides to do is just keep things marked up. Why risk more dice rolls? Amazons finally... it's a push me, push you. Well, it punches him out of the cage. At least what there was of it. And now everything he's got can mark up the poor bastard. But now the Amazons have to pay attention. They've got to get one player, or at least some semblance of a player here, down the field ready to receive the ball. And it's an awful lot of 1 dice blocks going on. Fortunately, as long as they have blitzes on the field, these are not quite as risky as you think. Nurgle team fighting back. And finally something actually breaks in the front line. They finally crack the armour. And it's a true injury. Well, we're all marvelling at a broken hip bone, but you know what? That might be good for the next game. These Blood Bowl players are tough, aren't they? That was a good solid punch down. How about you? That's a push away. Well, fine, we'll take that. And yeah, as you can see here now, it's about time Fluffy actually started throwing his weight around, because he needs to be moved forward exactly to mock 2 players. Big risk, Big gamble. He gets the push away. And no further. And he even KOs himself in the process. It might be a big mistake here, because now the ball is absolutely free. Amazons, you have 2 turns. Can you actually do it? You can see it. Yes, he can. But boy, is it going to be a bloody miracle play. Because admittedly, yeah, look at this. Not 1, 2 disturbing presences in the air. He's got the ball. Makes the easy dodge. As you can see there, he needed to go 1 more square to get out of the disturbing presence. But he has played it smart. He can still recover this, get the play to air, and try and actually score with it. Nurgle, of course, is 100% aware that can actually happen, and I'm going to try and put as many disturbing presences down as I can. And of course, this is a very smart play here. All he needs is the push. He's got it. Well done, lad. Someone's been paying attention to the broadcast, hasn't they? And at this point, yeah, Fluffy can throw a block and not care. And of course, whenever that happens, well, yeah, now there's going to be a double skull in your future, isn't there? And yes, I've seen it being a triple skull. Well, Amazons, that was well fought. Solid punch. Have they got at least 1 more left in them? No, but they've got a dodge. There's a solid blow, solid hit. Well, at least they can exit here on maybe a glory pass. And both down finally there at the end. And there's your results there from the VGP division. A good, solid 1-0, well-named stadium there, chessboard, considering that was really a very good strategic game of positioning players. Well, good entertainment. Next week, Nuffle bless your dice.